Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to Korean Atlanta Mentorship. So I've been thinking about this topic for quite some time now, probably more than 10 years. And I remember there was a time a long time ago where I watched this episode of The Simpsons and it really stuck to my brain where Marge Simpson is talking to Bart about the importance of like your hometown, your tradition, your culture and your values and that you come from a place. And that always stuck to me that I come from a place and that the people that I'm with matter, and we need to have unified values in what it is that we do, right? And then as I've grown older, it just seems like everywhere that I went, um, people just don't seem to care about having some sort of unified tradition, culture, values, or if they did have some sort of a tradition that they were known for, it just seems to have greatly eroded in the past 10 to 15 years. So I'll just give a really easy example. Um, let's say, America is supposed to be, oh, we value freedom of speech. And now there's a generation of people who actively oppose it. You know what I'm saying? And so I just find it funny. Well, I don't know if it's really funny, maybe kind of sad that culture and traditions are basically relegated to just being maybe like a wedding costume of one day of your life. You ever notice that? Like nobody really seems to care about like culture and tradition anymore, unless it's like a costume that you put on for like wedding photos. But other things I've noticed too is like, for example, like in the South, when I first came to Georgia in 2015, it was kind of disappointing that there was nobody here with a Southern accent too. And I read this newspaper article about how like if you grew up in Georgia as a Generation Xer, you're the generation where nobody who grew up here has an accent, a Southern accent. I was like, man, that's kind of a bummer, right? And things that I would have seen as positives like Southern hospitality, I never got to really experience. Although I do admit people were far nicer here back in the 2010s, or at least to me, than they are nowadays. But I think that's just true of everywhere you go, right? And other things too, like you know, what else? Being from California, I think Californians were known to have been like laid back, living the dream, can do anything attitude, and then I think that's completely been gone. I might be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure it's like that because every time I go back, I always feel this huge sense of disappointment that I don't know how to really express because I don't think California used to be like that. Now, here's another article that kind of reminds me that I'm always right about people just not caring about something that they had traditionally, but they just seem to have lost. And what's funny is this is just from yesterday, right? So this is a very recent thing, and I remember just from media and all that that the French were supposed to have had this gastronomical culture that values slow food cooking, and now it's 2024. This literally came out yesterday on March 15th, and it's a news article about and a video about France's obsession with American fast food, why the French love American fast food. And then despite its reputation for gastronomy, France has become an American fast food mecca. Between 2019 and 2023, more than 1,300 fast food restaurants opened in the country. And if you play the video, I really don't like to play other people's videos on my channel just in case I get copyright stricken. There's a man. I don't know if it's this one or another video about this where he says we love American fast food more than Americans, or we appreciate it more. It's like, dang, France, they got you too. They got you too, didn't they? And that's kind of a sad thing nowadays about how whatever you were used to be known for, it just seems like in one generation, they just kind of drop it. Like even in Korea, it's like that too. Korea culture used to be very two things like centered around being older. That like the tradition and respect was to the older people by default, and to teachers. And then I remember I recently read an article. I don't know if it was last year or late early this year about how like teachers were self-deleting because like everybody was treating them bad. Like you got lazy students and parents who harass them. But let me just kind of type this in: South Korean. Yeah, so there's these protests against parent bullies, and it's crazy, right? I don't think this ever happened in like my dad's day or my mom and dad's back in the day, because like teaching was just from Confucian tradition was seen as like this noble thing, right? That's why a lot of people back in the day want to be teachers, and now nobody cares. They just kind of threw that away. They kind of throw nowadays in almost in every culture. They just kind of throw away everything. Everything is just this weird prop for like social media or taking a picture, but nobody really takes things seriously anymore, which is kind of sad. And maybe we need to start watching that episode of The Simpsons again, where again Marge tells Bart, where you have to show respect for your roots and culture, and this town is a part of us all, a part of us all, a part of us all. And she says it 3 times so that Bart doesn't forget. And I didn't forget because I know it works because I didn't forget, and I watched it 20 something or 30 something years ago. Insane, right? But yeah. All right. Well, that's it for today. Just a little rant about where our society is headed. If they got the French to love American fast food, I think that was one of those things where you thought like, oh, if they could get France to do that, then hell is what do you call it? Oh, I don't even know the saying. I can't even think of it. I'm just a little depressed right now. But okay, well, whatever. Yeah, but yeah, but in modern society, people will gladly abandon their cultural values in an instant. Just like in America, we got a generation of people who don't who will actively suppress freedom of speech. Like that would have been shocking like 30, 40 years ago, right? Remember how people used to say that I'll defend your right to say even if I don't like to say. Now they'll just say I'll cancel you if you don't like if I don't like what you have to say. All right, well, here's the thing. If you're looking for to join a group that has, let's say, values that don't change from year to year at the whim of society, go ahead and click the Google form link below. If you talk to any of my friends back home, they'll actually criticize me. It's like, why have you changed, man? Well, maybe because whatever I did actually worked and makes sense, right? Like you don't change for the sake of change just at the whim of society and then watch society. I don't want to say collapse because that's kind of dramatic, but yeah. But again, if you're interested in joining our group to learn about financial literacy, real estate investing, and just hear me rant once in a while on a Zoom call, you go ahead and do that. Click the Google form link below, and that'll be it for today. All right. Well, have a great day, everybody, and we will speak next time.